Hello, Yeye, how are you? Hello, how are you?
It's fine.
How are you?
Fine, I can't even hear you. Are you?
Ojo, very heavy Ojo started just now.
Eh?
Very heavy rain started, oh.
Eh.
But can you see me? Because nínú ilé mo ní láti dúró
No,
sí
I can't
báyìí.
see you.
You can't see me.
No, you're not. You're not. Your video is not on.
My bro.
Mm. You're, you've also turned off your audio.
Come
Okay, your audio is on, but your video is not on.
in. I don't know why it's not making it on. Okay. Okay. Very dark. Oh, I can see. So,
Mhm.
hi.
We can't even see you.
At all, èmi gan. Very, very dark. Mo dẹ̀
What?
tán gbogbo iná mẹ́ta mo tàn. But the rain is so heavy that it's dark outside. Let me see if I can change location.
Change your location.
Let me try and do that and see if because èmi
Because
gan rí i pé
you
very dark.
you don't want to go to where there's mosquito. This place is better. Where you are now is better.
Ibi tí mo wà yẹn náà iná wà ń bẹ̀ o.
No,
But
but where you are now is better. I can see
yes,
you very well.
okay. So
Mm,
let me just move a chair here.
yeah.
Yeah. Pẹ̀lẹ́ bò ni ẹ kú rìn o.
Oh God. My internet was on, so most people didn't even know I was traveling.
Wow.
Usually when I'm traveling like that, I buy Wi-Fi online. I mean on board, so I can communicate with people here and there.
Yeah.
I was still communicating even as I was traveling.
Wow. Let me move a chair here.
Okay. That particular spot, eléyìí náà wà okay. No. Ibẹ̀
Màá
yẹn dà.
change. Iná bíi méjì ló wà níbí. Ó kàn jẹ́ yín pé ó máa
Ẹ
kẹ̀yìn sí
káwọn. Okay.
ó máa kẹ̀yìn sí àwọn ìwé ọ̀gá lọ́yà. Ah, eh, ṣé màá wá náà ronú báyìí? Mo jókòó dà.
Ó dark.
Let
Dídúró
me
yìí.
let me check inside. Let me
Eh,
check it. See. Okay. Ibi yìí náà iná ẹ̀ bright gan. But let me see if I try àti jókòó. Ah, mo ṣáà hope pé because òjò yẹn heavy gan.
mm.
Let me see this place. Ah, same thing ni o. Iná méjì. Okay, this way. You can see me very well this way,
Yeah,
abi?
this one is better. Yeah.
Nǹkan tí n bá jókòó. Okay. Torí mi lè imagine kí n nà rówó through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll use this location. Oh, ká máa retí káwọn èèyàn máa join. Mo tún
Mm,
send.
somebody even joined before.
Okay.
Mm. But the person, I think somebody is trying to join now. Don't let the person in. Okay. So let's just good evening, everyone, once again. Today is Global Parents Day. We want to welcome every parent. Once it's about once in another 3 minutes, we're going to start so that we don't waste. I mean, we don't delay people who are already on the call. Yeah, I can see people are joining now. You know. Okay. So we're 6 here now. In another 2 minutes, we just start. There's no African time. The only grace is 7:05 on the dot. Good evening, ma'am. Mrs. Obajemu. Good evening, ma'am. It's nice to see everybody here. Who are here now? We have Mrs. Obajemu. We have Adeshola Olushayo. We have that's Mrs. Adeshola, I guess. We have Mrs. Christy Ubabuko. We have Mrs. Karina. So I think we should just start right away so that we don't delay because it's already 7 o'clock. Um, Good evening once again, and welcome to this special interactive edition of Working with Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas. My name, as we all know, I'm Mrs. Oyeye Adeshola Oyinloye Undu. With me, and who will be anchoring, is Mrs. Tinu Gladys Shegun Dikpe. I'll read a little, I'll read
Good evening.
I'll make a citation on Mrs. Tinu. Just a moment, please. I just realized that we are not recording yet. Okay. Okay, so let me just take the citation on Mrs. Tinu Shegun Fadipe. Just a moment, please. Mm. Sorry, I have it written somewhere. Okay, so Mrs. Gladys Tinuola Shegundipe is a certified, experienced, and passionate educator, trainer, and consultant. She started with NCE, later had BA, BAED, that's BA Ed, as we always say, and proceeded to having a MED in 2 different areas. Presently, she's on a PhD in early childhood education. She's been a practitioner for so many years and running her own school for over 20 years now. Today, she is lecturing at the Early Childhood Education Unit of Bamidele Olumilua University of Education, Science and Technology, Ikenne in Ekiti State. Mrs. Segun Dipe Tinuola has been married for 30 years and blessed with 2 young men. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to uh, hand us over to Mrs. Segun Dipe. Today is going to be an interactive session. So we are not even sharing slides as such. We want to speak to each other as parents. And once again, I say Happy Global Parents Day. It's a day for all parents, which is very, very important. It's a day to remind us about how we need to look after our children. Um, I've been traveling the whole day. I actually, while I was on board, I watched 3 films, and they were all talking about trust. And in my mind, I was like, children are being taught. Actually, the film one was Snow White, the other one was Sonny the Hedgehog, and the third one was Sonny the Hedgehog, Snow White, and Paddington in Peru, and everything centered on trust. And in my mind, it's like, okay, so if the children in the West, they are learning this type of, I mean, they're watching this type of video that teaches them more about trusting another person to and behaving well. Why should we now encourage videos that will be talking, I mean, that will be showing all sorts of things in Nigeria, for instance? Maybe we allow videos that children are watching on rituals, on other vices. Maybe it is time for us as parents to also change the kind of programs that our children watch. I mean, we'll go into that, but like I said, today is an interactive session. We just want to know where things have gone wrong, where things went wrong, and how we can, um, I mean, change things around for better society. So, Mrs. Tinuola Segun Dipe, the floor is all yours to please set the tone for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yeye Adeshola. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you are joining from. Good afternoon, good morning. Happy Global Day of Parents. Thank God, we are all parents. And I mean it when I say we are all parents. One way or the other, we are parents. Only biological parents. We have biological parents. We have professional parents, for instance, those of us in the education sector, whether you are school owners, whether you are teachers or helpers, you are professional parents. Then we have foster parents and all that. We have grandparents. So we are all parents. Once you are representing a parent figure in the life of a child, then you are a parent. So please, this program is meant for every one of us. Okay, quickly looking at the topic for today, the evolution of parenting, nurturing Gen Z and Alpha in a fast changing world. Gen Z and Alpha. Yesterday, Yeye and I were talking about the issue of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And I was telling her that incidentally, some of my children fell into Gen Z, but I never heard of that title until maybe some years ago, after probably nurturing my children past the teen age. That's when I started hearing about that. So it's possible that some of us too as parents are not even aware of these things. When I started hearing it, I thought it was just a slogan until I went online to really find out. And then I discovered that including us, our parents, and even our grandparents fall into one generation or the other. So when you talk about Gen Z, these are children born between 1997 and 2012. So these children are between the ages of 13 and 28. Then when you're talking about Gen Alpha, these are children born from, in fact, this moment as we are speaking, from this year to about 2013. And so these are children from birth, that's from today, to about 12 years. So I think we get that. So we're talking of nurturing children from birth to about 28 years. These are the children that falls into these generations. And looking at this generation, what makes them unique? What are the features that makes these children unique? One of the major characteristics is that these children are digital natives. These children are born into, I remembered even my first son born in 1997, as at the time he was born, we already had a complete PC at home. So as he was growing, he already knows about internet and all these things, which for someone like me, that was the first time that I was maybe really having anything to do personally with a complete PC, unlike the child that was born into it. So these are digital natives. They are born into it. And when you talk about tech, they have access to it. Because in those days, how many of us landlines? How many of us landlines at home? But now, I don't know which home you will get to. You will not see the parents having a phone. And so these children are born into these things and they have access to it. When we had landlines, maybe I was already in the higher institution then, I dare not just go close to the landline anyhow. What will I say I want to do? That I want to call somebody. Do I have anybody's phone number? Unlike today, these children, even from, I stand to be corrected, as early as 3 months, or even earlier than that, parents are already giving these children iPhones and all that to watch films, to watch Jollyphonics, to watch music and all this on their phones. So these children have access to tech. Then they have access to information. Look at the social media. In our own days, it was newspapers, maybe, in fact, old newspapers, after our parents have finished reading and they have dropped the thing, maybe for about 1 or 2 weeks, and you are not too busy, that's when you go and pick the newspapers. The only thing we have access to then, we are our maybe literature tests, our textbooks, and occasionally, yes, occasionally television, maybe the news. That's because what will you say you are doing there? Whether you are a male or a female, what will you say you are doing beside the television? So these children are born into this thing. So they have access. They have access to the social media. They are born into it. As early as, I remember there was a time something was going viral about one little boy that they were asking him what he wants to do in the future. And he was like, Mofe Shashe. The boy will be about maybe less than 2 years. They say Mofe Jashe or something, this thing that these Yahoo guys, so one of slogans. And a boy of less than 2 years is already aware of that slogan and already using it. So this is what we are talking about. So when we look at these children, what are their needs? When you talk about their needs, differentiate between needs and wants. Do they know what they really need? Do they know what is important? I remember we were taught about opportunity cost, about how to prioritize what is important. But for these children, I don't think there's anything like that. There's nothing like prioritizing. As far as they are concerned, they want everything, whether it is important to them now or not. They want everything. And unfortunately, going to parenting now, unfortunately, parents these days feel that they must give their children everything they request for. everything they ask for. I'm sorry, I don't know. At times I look at it that parents, if care is not taken, I don't know. There's nothing they cannot give to children. Children as early as in our own days, even as it, I don't know, you dare not throw tantrum. Tantrum over what? Even when the thing is so essential. You dare not try to throw tantrum. But you see children of 6 months, yes, less than a year, throwing tantrums over something that is not important to them. Because they want to pick your phone, they want to play with your laptop, you are not allowing them. The next thing you see them rolling on the floor, throwing things around and throwing tantrums. So these children, one of the things that they want autonomy, they want independence, they want to be on their own. They don't want you to disturb them. In fact, when you call some of the children, for them to answer is even a problem. They see it as if you're being them. Even when you want to tell them is something that is important. You see a visitor coming into a house. The children are busy pressing phone or busy, watching a movie. And until you call them to ask them, oh, see auntie, can't you see uncle? And even when you are saying that, you see some of them just say, hello. They will say it grudgingly as if you have distracted them, as if you have disturbed them. There is a knock on the door and the child is not standing up to open the door. And you will see the father or the mother struggling to the door. And teenagers are there in the sitting room. You see the parents rushing down or rushing out of the kitchen to go and open the door. Yes, we know security and all that. We should ask who is there. But these children will not even make a move. And even when the guests come in, you still have to call them to say hello to the guest. So when we talk about nurturing, positive nurturing, unfortunately, a lot of parents think because they are not available or they are not always around. The truth be told, the period you are around, even if it is for 5, 10, 15 minutes or more, you must spare it for your children. You must share it with your children. We are talking of nurturing and parenting. A lot of parents have left nurturing of their children to housemates, to caregivers, drivers, security men, and all that. And look at the names we are calling. I'm sorry to say, I'm not saying they belong to second cadre or they are not good or they are not important. But are you sure that the value in this maid or in the security man or in the driver is what you want to nurture into your children? If your answer is no, because I guess that's what you will say, then what do you want to nurture into those children? Nurturing children is like tendering the children. It's like you have to wet, it's like flour. Children, that's where the origin of kindergarten. You have to wet the children, the flour for it to grow well. You have to tender it to make sure that weeds are not taking over. But are parents there? Are we not allowing weeds to take over the nurturing of our children? Because when you allow weeds to take over, if care is not taken, what happens to a plant? When it's not well tended and you allow weeds to take over, what happens to that plant? The plant is not likely to be fruitful. The plant may even die. But is that what we want for our children? So, and another thing is that many of us as parents these days, we have decided not to move with the flow of things. The most rural person, the most local person in the village, I can assure you, have an Android phone or even iPhones. But what are they doing with it? It's not just WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook. You will see some parents, the only time you can see them online is party things, burial things, wedding things. That's the only thing you can see on their pages. the latest fashion. That's the only things you can see. You cannot see them talking books. You cannot see them talking about morals. And when you are not, a lot of us, okay, let me talk from the education sector now. I'm trying to say that because we need to give parents room to really talk about the challenges they are facing so that we really know what to handle this evening. Talking about the education sector, when I see the way some parents handle their children, I feel for the children, and that is the truth. I feel for the children because there's a saying, what you don't have, you cannot give. You see parents coming to school to insult school owners and even teachers in the presence of children. You see parents telling their children, and the children will even tell us in the school that your teacher dare not do this to you. You will tell your children that, yet you want us to instill morals in the same children. Is it possible? It's not. So the home is failing. Unfortunately, parents are also allowing schools to fail. Because when the parents, the teachers are trying to say something, the parents will come and say, no, this is what they want. And the next thing, especially in private schools, the next thing is they will threaten. They will threaten, I'm going to take my child somewhere else, to a place where they will allow them to do anything. But I'm sorry to say, I pray and I keep praying. Because if you feel your children should not suffer now, you feel your children should not cry now, you feel that your children should not have any sort of feelings now, in the future, are you prepared to stand it when you will be? In fact, they will not only be the one to cry along with them. Are you prepared for that? Because when these children don't have any socio-emotional development, no morals, in fact, some children to greet, it is problem for them. And the parents, the next thing is that he's just a child. What's the meaning of he's just a child? Your child woke up in the morning, no matter. See, even right from when the children are from 6 months, you start talking to them and even showing them the way they will greet. So much more that by the time they're about a year, the boys are already knowing that they have to prostrate, like there's one of my friend's child then. Because of when, when I'm coming, I will say, and the boy will be shouting before I get close to the house and will be telling me, see me, I'm frustrating. See me, I'm frustrating you. Do you understand? You have to show them so that even from early childhood, they must know how to greet adults. They must know how to say hello. They must know, you set boundaries and let them know boundaries. Whether with your gesture, with your talking, or somehow, you have to set rules at home. Let them know what they should do. Let's not talk too much in the negative. Talk in the positive, and that's setting boundaries. Do this, do this. I remember that was what they did with us. When you come back from school, do this. When you come back from school, do this. Remove your uniform, remove your shoes and keep it there. Do this, do this. They will not tell us, don't keep your uniform outside. They will not tell us, don't tell us, do this. And immediately they say, do this. We know we have to do it. Friends, please, we have a long way to go. But I'm going to stop now so that we start looking through and we start hearing from you. We want to hear from you. What are those challenges you are facing nurturing these children? These children, at times, they want to chase you away. They want to, to try to stay on their own and tell you they want to be on their own. Please don't allow it. That is error 001. The moment you align these children too much of independence and seclusion, right from 3 years, 4 years, you see children, they will tell their parents that their parents are disturbing them. They will tell their children, oh, the parents, you are giving me headache. And some of us, we think it's normal. We smile, we laugh it out. It's not funny. We have to let them know the level they are at every time. Please allow these children cry now so that they will not cry in the future and you will not have to cry along with them. Let them feel the hurt now. Many of us are enjoying now because we felt the hurt and because we cried when we ought to cry. Please, your parents made you to cry. Don't allow your children to make you to cry. Thank you once again. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Tinola Gladys Shegundipe. Now the floor, we're going to open the floor now to hear from parents. We need to hear from parents the challenges they are facing raising Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Just like Mrs. Gladys Shegundipe said that she raised children at these times that we mentioned, but I mean, didn't really occur to her that they were Gen Z or Gen Alpha. For me, sometimes I also think that we are stigmatizing these children when we keep saying they are Gen Z or Gen Alpha. Some people raise children in those time frame, and the children don't behave like they were raised at that time. So I think it still boils down to every parent. Every parent, the way we want to raise our children. But for today, like I said, let's first hear from parents the challenges that we're facing raising children in today's generation. I mean, as an anti-bullying advocate, for instance, I would always recommend that children don't use phone, at least Android phone. Don't use Android phone, don't use tabs until they're about to get into the university, when we know that that is compulsory. At that age, I mean, even some universities, they don't even allow them to use Android phone. Now, I always say something. Research has shown that the frontal lobe of the brain that takes decision for humans is not developed until a human is 25. So that means taking right decision cannot really be said to be done properly until a child is 25. So why do we want to now start giving those children phones, Android phones, getting into websites? For me, I think parents are shirking in their responsibilities. So the floor is open to each and every one of us. Today is an interactive session. We want to talk to ourselves as parents and probably chip in professional advice on how the children could be nurtured in this age. I mean, there are parents that raise children in this age that we call Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and they are still not behaving like Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are behaving like the old school. So it means something went right. So, what are the things that could have gone wrong in our own? I mean, for those who say that the children are behaving like Gen Z or Gen Alpha. So please, let's hear from parents. I mean, a parent sent something to me now, which I posted on the chat. It says the man above. I think it's a newspaper cut. Says the man above is the principal of Complete Child Development Center, Awule, Akure in Ondo State. He was brutally beaten by thugs paid by the parent of a student from the above school for disallowing his child to cheat with handset during this ongoing WAEC. The mother has threatened to kill him and any member of the school authority if her child is not allowed to cheat during the forthcoming mathematics next week. Please, let's share it until it goes viral. I mean, this is just the main, I mean, this is the real thing in this story. A child is trying to cheat. The child has been caught. The father sent thugs to beat up the vice principal. And the mother is also threatening that the child will come to school with Android. But again, in as much as that happened in a school, we might blame the parents. How the school authority also nurturing these children that a parent can send can send thugs? Because I mean these things are co-shared responsibilities. There are some schools as well that they've lost the respect that school authority should have. My father was a principal, and I remember one of my uncles said that whenever he saw my dad, he always thought that he does not even go to the toilet. That shows how neatly he was dressed and how principled he was. That they felt this man does not go to toilet until one day they saw him one time, a long time ago when there were not yet toilets. When they saw him trying to ease himself somewhere, so they said, so this teacher too go to toilet. So our school authorities now, how do they present themselves? Because if you respect yourself and I mean, if a school authority respects itself and um it's principled in in the right way, in some ways, it will be difficult for, I don't know how a parent can just send thugs to beat up a vice principal. Could it have been that the vice principal too has compromised at some point before? I don't know if you're hearing me. Please, are we hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So could it be that the vice principal or the school authority too, they've compromised at some points before? So these are what we want to discuss here as parents. You're very welcome, Mrs. Funke Aroko. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I forgot the full name now. You're very much welcome. I heard you speaking. Yeah. So let's just all speak to ourselves as parents. Like I said at the last session, even if we're 15, 15 tell another 15, 15 tell another 15, another 15 tell another 15. The chain keeps going like that. Now we are raising children in what are the challenges that parents are facing? The last time we talked about attachment styles, that's become my baby because I'm an anti-bullying advocate. In the quest of trying to understand why some children are bullies, why some children could be prone to addictions, I stumbled on attachment. And I realized that attachment is the bond that children form with their primary caregivers, even as young as, I mean, when they're still young. So now we are talking about parents that are not around. Who is going to be the primary caregivers for these children? What type of bonds are they having with the people we call their primary caregivers? Attachment styles talks about, I mean, attachment theory talks about two types of attachment styles: the secure one and the insecure attachment style. The insecure attachment style is further broken into three. The a secure attached child is the one that has at least a parent present in his or her life. And the parent is there to nurture the child. The parent is there to listen to the child, building trust and emotional stability in that child. Such children end up being secure. The insecure attached children are the ones that could be anxious, could be avoidant again, or even avoidant is broken into fearful avoidant or dismissal avoidant, and the disorganized. So let me just run through these three, and then we take the challenges that we think we're facing this and try to see where we can solve these puzzles. So the three types of insecure, the first one, the anxious insecure type, probably is a child that the parents might be going out without telling the child where they are going when they are coming back. And so this child becomes so anxious, or the caregiver goes out, do not tell the child, okay, we are coming back by 12, and they make it 12. So this type of children, they deal with anxiety. Oh, maybe the parents will not even come back again. I have a child in one of my programs. The grandma brings the child, and the child is always crying. But there was one day I called his grandma, and I said, "Is it that when you go out, you don't tell him where you're going? You don't tell him when you're coming back, or even when you're bringing the child to this program, you don't tell him where he's going?" It's an issue of trust. So such child becomes anxious. She's not sure of the grandma or the caregiver if they are coming back or not. Such children grow up being anxious, and they want to please everybody at the end of the day. The avoidance, they could be dismissal or they could be fearful. Fearful, but most time the avoidance, they have what I call pseudo-independence. They become that way because of the way they were raised. They are the type that the parents may not be present in their life, and as such, they tend to give themselves some kind of independence. There's what we call the human survival instinct. If a child needs attention from the parents and the parent is not giving that child will end up finding a way for him or herself. They are the type of children that when you drop them in the creche, the parents come, they pretend as if they don't even know the parents are around. Because they know anyway when they get home, they are going to be on their own. Sometimes first children might fall. First children could the only children sometimes could fall into either anxious or avoidant, depending on the way they were raised. So when they're always on their own, they don't have people to play with them, they don't have anybody to talk to, they look out for a way out. And the way out is to think they are independent. Such children don't have empathy, and that's the difference between them and the secure ones. In their mind, they will tell themselves they are independent, but really they are insecure, avoidant. Firstly, they don't trust another person, they don't trust other people, and they lack empathy. Unlike the secure, attached children, they trust because they have people that they can open up to and talk to. And the secure, attached children are also empathetic. So, having talked about anxious, avoidant, and now the third one is disorganized. They have mood swings. It fluctuates. Their emotions fluctuate because probably they have been abused as children. They also struggle with the issue of trust. Like I said earlier on my flight today, I watched 3 films, and I realized everything was talking about trust, building trust. There was one that was Paddington in Peru. The other one was Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Snow White. Even Snow White, we all read Snow White as children. We read the book, but today watching the film to me made me to really deep think again. I learned so much from that film, and I will encourage each and every one of us to go back to reading to watching that film if you can find it online. I learned from it that love will always overcome. Love builds trust, and vice versa. When we really love, trust is going to come in. And when people trust us, they will love us. So I'm going to, leave the floor open now for parents to please come out with the challenges we think we're having with our children, that we call the Gen Zs and the Gen Alpha, knowing that there are still some parents that are raising children in this generation as well, but those children are not behaving like Gen Z. So is there something they are doing right that maybe we need to learn from? So please, the floor is open now. Let's hear from every parent here, please. Challenges with, it doesn't have to be our own children. Just like last week when we had a program, somebody talked about a friend in the UK who was always giving um, the children everything they wanted. It wasn't our own friend, but she got a solution that from that question. And I said, no, that's not the way to raise children. As otherwise, the woman doing that to the children is just is not it's just like a Mother Christmas. Because if you're just raising children, giving them everything, and we all know that children are best politicians in this world. So if they know that this woman will give them, this mommy will give them everything, they will always ask for more. And that's not nurturing a child. She's actually like she can be compared to a Mother Christmas or Santa, Mrs. Santa. So please let's rub minds today being Global Day of Parents. We are trying to see how things could be better for our children, how we can make it better. I was discussing with somebody some time ago and I said, please, if it means leaving your job, if it means leaving your job to become a housewife, by all means do it. You're investing in the children. And I listened to Channels TV yesterday when Auntie Alero said people are raising children. I mean, they're looking for money, and when you find the money, the children you are raising the money for, they might not be there anymore. So please, as parents here, let us hear and learn from each other, because this is the okay. Somebody's raising a hand. Please speak, Mrs. Odewumi Ruth Morenike. Please speak. The floor is yours now, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I really enjoyed this program. We are talking about the Gen Z children, but I want to ask a question. I want to use my own child as an example. I have a child that I just discovered today when I was checking the YouTube. She did something on a content creator. I never knew that she has done something like that. But she's still in SS2 now, an SS2 student. So when I opened that YouTube, when I check what she did, in fact, I really amazed. I tried to ask myself, when did she do this kind of thing? So I now realize that it was during the holiday that she picked my phone. Though she has her own phone, but I don't allow her because she's in boarding house. I don't allow her to take the phone to school. When I now saw what she did this afternoon, I mean today, that is when I watched it through the YouTube. I was so amazed. And not only that, anytime she's around, once she's able to pick that phone, she will surely learn something from that phone. She's still in SS2 now. She has not written WAEC because I don't like giving children phone when they have not written WAEC. But this thing is baffling me that, okay, assuming I deprive her of using this phone at this age, with what she's doing now, I don't know. Should I still continue or should I deprive her whenever she's around, to not allow her to use the phone, or I should still give her? Because we are talking about we shouldn't allow children to use phone. I agree that they should be allowed to be using phone when they are about to enter university. But this child has not entered university. She has even started when she was in GSS 3. So look at that situation. What can we do?
Okay, ma'am, I will
Thanks.
come to that. There's something called parental guidance. My son started coding at the age of 14, and I wouldn't say don't code. I rather would guide the use of the phone. The problem we have with most parents now is we just give the children tabs and we don't guide. And that was why I even was saying that I told somebody, if you have to be a housewife, please be a housewife so that I can know what these children are doing. And be a present housewife, because some housewives are busy watching Nollywood and the rest of it. So parental guidance. When I said my son was coding, he had time he would come for he was using my phone then. He had time he would come for my phone. And I would guide him. I would be, not that I would stay on him, but once in a while I check. And he knows I could come at any time. So it's not that I would give him the phone and go for like 2 hours and then come back. So when we identify such children, even without such children, I mean, identifying such children, any child who wants to go on the phone, when I said they shouldn't use the phone, I mean, they shouldn't own the phone, have access to the phone on filtered. They shouldn't have access to the phone 24 hours. Actually, in our own time, when we were raising the children, we had a PC. Then it was the days of PC. So we kept the PC in a central area. So even if you're on the PC doing your homework or whatever you're doing, people could pass around you and see what you're doing. And when it had to be, when it came to the time that, like I said, my son started coding when he was 14. He actually is the first Nigerian to win the Google coding and the third African of his time. So he would take the phone and I would monitor it. That is one thing that we lack. Parents just want children to, the tab has actually become their own parent, the children's parents. So, I mean, your daughter who is a good content creator is a good thing. Actually, it's one of those jobs now that sells. If you go on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, you see a lot of time people are looking for content creators, content writers. So if she has that skills, which has been identified, please, by all means, guide her. So don't just give her the phone and then let her have unfiltered access to it for the whole day.
Okay.
And once she knows that you're guiding her, you're monitoring her, she also will use it for exactly what you want her to use it for.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
that would be my own suggestion. I don't know if any other person here has something to contribute on this. For me, like I said, personal phone, Android phone, children may not be allowed to use Android phone, personal phone until after the WAEC, when they are going to the university. And like I said, there's some university, I won't mention names now, where people can't, where they will say children shouldn't even use, their students shouldn't even use what's it called? Android phone. They'll say when you're at home, you can use it, but not when you're in school, because they've realized that these things are very, very distracting. And sometimes children, something else they say they are doing is another thing they say they are doing. And like I said, the frontal lobe of a child is not developed until the child is 25. So making informed decisions sometimes could be difficult at that age. They think they are doing the right things. If a child knows that he or she is doing something wrong, why would some children be filming themselves doing some vices? Smoking whatever, I don't understand. Girls smoking whatever and videoing it and putting it on TikTok. Obviously, to them, they are doing the right thing. But if they have that parental guidance that will say, okay, this thing you're doing is not right, it's going to affect your health, firstly. It will also affect you as you're growing up. They might see it in another way. So please, ma'am, like we said, I don't know if other parents too have something to say about it, about this particular issue. Yes, please,
Can
go
I say
ahead. Go
something?
ahead, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good
Yes,
evening.
I'm Funke Arokodare.
Yes.
I just want to I just want to contribute to the conversation. One thing I realize is that God has created these children for this time. And with technology and all that, I believe that we should just ask for the grace to teach them in the right way. And let's ask for God to help us to train them, because there are a lot of talents that are in these children. We must not bury them, but we must try and nurture them in the right way. I sometimes between my children, they are 7 years apart. And in fact, my firstborn is more or less that I'm always apologizing because of the way I brought her up. I didn't know better. But the younger one, that one is outspoken and other because I've come to realize who I was. So I was able to guide him properly. So these children, it's not about phone. If you don't give them the phone, they will go out there. The first thing is you must befriend your children. Let them have a safe space with you. They can always come to you. And there are younger children, even 5 years old, 10 years old, that are on social media now. I'm not, of course, they will say that we are the old school, whatever you call it, we are old school. But all the same, we must be present in the lives of our children. And let's have a safe space with them where they can always come to us for advice. Let's be their friend. Whatever is happening, let them first. Otherwise, they will go and meet their friends that does not know any better to teach them this thing. That's my little contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, you've said it, we should be present. That word present is very important because a parent that is present will build, I mean, there's this issue of trust. Once a child can trust a parent to open up to the parent, once the child, it will help the child's even emotional balance. A child will be able to say things that he or she knows that the parents will tell him or her the right things. But we can't attain this if they don't have that trust. If they don't believe in us. But how would they believe in us if we're not present? So everything comes back to the fact that we must be present in their lives as the primary caregivers.
Yes.
So please, do we have other things from from parents who want to contribute to this or want to ask question? I think there's a question here. Okay, it's the same thing everybody say. We must be present. We must be involved. We must be intentional.
Okay, quickly, I want to say something to Dr. Dewumi. I want you to please, and for other parents listening, because your daughter did that, like in secrecy. She did it without your knowledge. But now that you know, let her know that you are aware, and that is something you want to encourage, so that there won't be distraction. You will now use proverbs for her. There is time for everything. That she's into content creation, she should not allow it to distract her from her academics. There is something they call daydreaming. Now that she's into content creation, so that when she's in the class listening to chemistry or physics, that's not the time for her to start thinking about content creation, so that at the end of the day, she may not learn well. So please let her know that you are aware and that you want to encourage it. However, there is time for everything. She should not allow it to disturb her academics. And whenever she needs to use your phone, it is just right for her to ask for permission. Let her ask for permission. Let her create her content. And in fact, you will be her first viewer. You'll be the first person to see whatever she has done. So she should not do any hide and seek about it. So it's a very good thing. Just let her know. And just like Mr. Rokodare just said, befriend your children. That's one of the things. Let us stop leaving our children to social life. Let us live a real life with them. Let us have active communication with our children. Let us be active and patient listeners to our children. Anything they are doing, let us be involved. Let us have it as a plan. We must have time, no matter how busy we are, we must have time to plan for our children, so that whatever they are doing, like Adeshola said, parental guidance. That's why we are parents.
That's why we are there. So we should let them know so that when they are doing something wrong, we can quickly come in and correct them. Like there's something I encourage a lot in children, communication skills. I love children communicating. It's one of my strengths. I love communicating, positive communication. I'm not too much into gossip and all these things. I don't love it. In fact, I get tired of it. I don't know how to do it. But when children are communicating and you are listening, you are observing, you are watching them as like early years as specialists that I am, you'll be able to quickly observe when they are doing something wrong or when they are thinking wrongly. And you know, children are good with expression. When you want to know the truth, just go to the children and watch them. They are ignorant. They are just like that. They just express themselves. So when they're expressing themselves in a wrong way, you can quickly correct them. But for you to be able to do that, you must be observant and you must be involved. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We still need more. Okay, we still need more people to also join in this conversation about nurturing children. We at least we now know something. If we don't know before, we must be involved. We must be intentional. We must be present. Everybody keeps saying it. We must be present. Mrs. Obajemu just sent a message to me now that we must be present. So maybe somebody can explain what being present means, because we shouldn't assume that everybody knows what being present is.
Come on, let me raise my hand.
So yes, please, can somebody explain what being present is? Mrs. Shagun Dikpe, do you want to, or maybe another parent can tell us exactly what it means to be present? Are we marking register and say I'm present?
Okay, well, to my understanding, being present, the simplest way to describe that is being involved. When your children know that you are not at home, it's just like when we were young too. Our parents are not at home. I remember even when I was in the university, when you tell me to do something or you are inviting me to do, the first thing that comes to my mind is if my daddy should hear about this thing, or if my mommy should see me where I'm going to, what will he or she say? That's usually the first thing. That is presence. I was in the university, I was not at home. That is their presence in me. So that is exactly what we are talking about. It's not that you should sit down with them and not go to work. It's not that you should not sleep. It's not that you should not allow them some privacy. But we are saying that you have to give them guidance to the extent that when you are not there, this guidance will help them, or they will bring it to you if there's anything they want to do. Since you are their friend, they will share it with you before thinking of sharing it with their colleagues or their peers, because one of the characteristics, one of the features of these Gen Z children and Gen Alpha children is peer pressure. They so much believe in friends, their colleagues, their classmates, children like them, maybe in the church. That's why you see them, they discuss a lot. You'll be watching them, you'll be wondering when you see some children, 5-year-old children, you'll be wondering, like a parent came to me to tell me that it was so child, or a child of 5-6 years, that won another child in her Sunday school class to our school. I was shocked. So you'll be wondering, they discuss that because of the things she was telling her. So these children, as young as they are, they discuss. So, but when they know that you, the parents, you have a borderline, you have boundaries, you have guidelines, you have rules. So even when they want to do anything, they will think that before doing that thing. That is your presence. You are involved. They know that mommy will ask.
They know that if mommy should see this thing, what will mommy say? So that will guide them into doing whatever they want to do. That's the way I understand the presence of parents in children's growth and development.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
want to ask.
I want to, hello.
Okay,
Can I say
go
something?
ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
In my own view, when we are talking about presence, is that a parent should have a listening ear. Whenever they want to talk, you shouldn't shun them off. Allow them to speak out. Whatever they want to say, let them talk. And God will guide you what to say. Rather than say, I don't have time for you. You talk too much. This thing you are saying. I don't want to be hearing it. All that things can lead children to go out and ask another person, which might not be palatable for them. So as good parents that want to be involved and that want to be present, you must give your child chance. You must listen to them. Allow them to talk. So through that, I think they will, anytime, even though they're having anything in their mind, they will be waiting. My mommy will soon come. I will tell my mommy will soon come. It means that you are involved. It means that you are present. But when they are with you, that every time, most especially, let me say this, we parents, we will be saying, oh, because I'm having meeting, or because I'm having my phone, you try to marry your phone, working on maybe using WhatsApp or doing all those kind of chats. When a child comes because you my assignment, maybe wants you to explain something to you, and you just say, well, I'm busy. Or maybe you are even a researcher that's always on your system, working always. And a child just comes to you, Mom, I want you to do this. And you say, you are busy. You know, that in that aspect, you are not present. Though you are in the house with him and you are not present. So the child can go elsewhere to act, and which might not be okay for the child. So whatever we are doing, we should give at least, if not 100%, at least 85% attention to our children. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I
There's
add to that,
something.
please?
Okay, go ahead,
Can
ma'am.
I add to that, please?
Please, go
Thank you
ahead.
very much. Thank you. Thanks for the two contributors on the to be present. Another view that I look at to be present is that we should notice our children. To be present is a child that is always talking. The person is now doesn't talk, is always locked up. You know, if there is change in mannerism, if there is change in, you can easily pick attitudes, you can easily pick things when a child is not in the normal character of the person. That's actually to be present. You are, like an university, you are being observant, with the children. There was a time, I think some years ago, when this suicide thing with children was very rampant. And I remember a friend of mine called some of her friends together, and she got a doctor, was it a doctor? Someone in the medical field to come and talk to us, the signs to look out for. And there was a lady sitting beside me and told me, she just said, my nephew killed himself in UK, I think the previous week or so. So to be present is, you look at their body language. You must we as mothers, God has actually given us intuition. We must not override our conscience. When something is not right, that means it is not right. We should not brush it away. So it's about being present, looking at them, someone that is talking, and the person doesn't talk anymore. The person is always alone. Maybe it may be the person is being bullied. And if someone is being bullied, in most cases, they don't talk. So it's the matter of getting to pick it up on time and addressing it. Thank you.
Great.
Wow. Thank you very much. Something came to my mind as you were speaking, and I would like to ask every parent here. When we were younger, at least I remember when I was younger, each time my parents dropped me at school, they would say, remember the child of who you are. How many of us can our can I mean, how many of us still say that to our children? And even if we say it to our children, do they know who we are?
Yeah.
Because that's a question we should always ask ourselves. If we tell our children, remember the child of who you are, do these children know who we are? If we cannot answer yes to it, then maybe that is where we should start from. That means we're not even present in their life for them to know who we are. So I think that just came to my mind as Mrs. Funke was speaking. It just occurred to me that okay, let me even ask this question: how many of us can tell our children, remember the child of who you are? Because I'm sure a lot of people cannot even tell their children today because the children don't even know who they are. And I trust the Gen Z people, they will ask you, who are you? They will ask you, who are you? So if we cannot tell our
Yeah,
child,
let me say something about the child of who you are.
yeah.
When my son was he attended, he finished from Covenant, and that was my last born. And when I remember there was a time he just called me. No, I think they told him that he was not going to write his exams because he was not attending class. He said everything in his base said, mommy must not hear. He said, everybody writes exams. So, and apparently he was sick and all that. So it's just the first thing he just said, mommy must not hear. So,
Yeah.
that is putting that fear. Even my daughter will say, mommy. It's not even about their father. They know it is their mother.
Yes.
So, and I'm grateful to God that at least both of them, they are now, when a child, when they grow up and they are now earning money, there's a limit you can say now.
Yeah.
Because if you say, mommy is not it. So I'm grateful to God the way they turned out. And it can only be God. Let me be honest with you. We are just, it is God that can just help us to train these children. Because when people come to me that they should come and meet me, how I trained my daughter, I say, it is not me, but it is God. So let us just commit them into the hands of God. They are from God, and let us just keep putting them in God's hands to help us to train them in the right way. Thank you.
Now, something again as an anti-bullying. Thank you, Mrs. Funke.
Please, can I say something, ma, about
Okay.
knowing the son of whom you are? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
I
ma'am.
really thank you to the organizers of this meeting because it is something that is very, very important at this time, especially for parents who are just. It's more important for parents who are just raising children now. I think they really need it. Knowing the son or daughter of whom you are, I must say, at this time, from the examples we see even from primary schools, most parents don't even know who they are. Most parents don't even know who they are. You see parents behave at times and you wonder, okay, if you behave this way, what do you want to teach this child? I think as parents, we have to first work on ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to work on ourselves on even with the issue of social media. It is very sweet when you just sit down and you're just scrolling. It is so sweet, and by the time you know it, the whole of one's life has just gone by. And if you're not careful, you are training these children. You're in one corner, you're pressing your phone. Your child is in one corner pressing a tab or something. By the time you know it, you will not get anything done, and a lot of things are going wrong.
Yeah.
So, and even some parents are overwhelmed emotionally now. And if you are not balanced as a parent, you cannot raise a child
That's
properly.
right.
So I think as parents, we have to first work on ourselves
Yeah.
and know that, look, I have children to take care of,
Yeah.
and I have to do this not for only for myself, not for myself, but for even the society and even for this child.
Yeah.
Over Nigeria, we have to work on it. Then another thing is, through my whole life of parenting, I don't know how other people do it, but I've come to realize that, like just like the last speaker said, there's nothing we can do outside of God.
Mm.
I mean, He has the manual. We are just there to guide these children, and even the guardians. If we don't commit it to Him, I don't know. I don't anything, any religion we are practicing. I think it is just right to commit these children to God and to tell God, I don't know how to do this thing. You have to teach me, because we don't really know how to train children. If you say you have good children, I think it is not only your own hard work. There are some people who work so hard, and God forbid it goes the other way.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I think with God we can achieve much more. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, I was just going to say only women are talking. Where are the men? But just now I can see actually my uncle says peer pressure is real. So being
Mm.
present should be continuous, even into adulthood. That's true. Otherwise, things can get out of control. It is
Mm.
better to bear the cost, being present when they are younger, because the cost multiplies as they grow older without attention. This is very important. I mean, this is coming from a man. That's my uncle. I don't know if you want to talk, sir, to encourage us, or if other men on this call also want to say something, because we have been talking from the perspective of women. It would be nice to also hear from men. As an anti-bullying advocate, I always say that children mirror the behaviors of their parents, whether we like it or not. A lot, yes, there's that peer pressure outside, I mean, environmental pressure and all that, but primarily, children tend to mirror the behavior of their parents or whoever is with them. Again, we are coming to attachment style. Whoever is with them. So if they are growing up with the house help money till night, the parents go out by 7 a.m. before they wake up, parents come back by 9 p.m. when they are already in bed, those children are going to be behaving like the people they are seeing around them.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we need to be very, very intentional in parenting, especially in these days. It's very important to be intentional. And like I say, I mean, in some climes, okay, this going to school and all that, we learned it from somewhere, from the foreign countries. And in these countries, there are some countries that their mothers don't work until the last child gets into the secondary school. Yes, we will say in Nigeria, maybe we don't have that type of net. What do we call it now? Safety net, because nobody will be paying you if you're not working and all that. But I always tell people, whatever you see as your standard is subjective. My standard could be that I just want to have a bicycle and train my children. Another person's standard may be that they want to have a jeep. Another person's standard may even be that while they are training their children, they don't even want to have anything if they cannot afford it. Even if it is walking to drop those children in school, they will do it just to train them. So all these things are subjective. So for me, again, we still come back to the same thing. We must be intentional, we must be present, and we should remember that our children, we are like a mirror to them.
Mm.
I remember one of these days I was making jollof rice. No, I made jollof rice and I didn't fry my chicken. So my daughter came into the kitchen and said, "Is this the way I taught you?" She was actually telling me what I would say if it was the other way around. She came to the kitchen and said, "Is this the way I taught you?" Because obviously she knows that the frying of the chicken was missing. So sometimes whatever we do for them when they're growing, they're going to repeat the same thing. So it's best that we show them the right thing. Like the last speaker talked about, we parents working on ourselves. It takes a lot of inconveniencing ourselves. I'm not on social media. I always say that. You'll not see me on Facebook because I wanted to show that example when they were young. I mean, if I like now, I could go on social media. What I had on social media when they were growing up were my businesses. So not my personal self. Even up till now, you will not see my personal self there. But you see because I wanted to, I was trying to live by what I say. So if I say it's not nice to be on social media, it's distracting, you can't, you won't concentrate, and they're saying me 247, going on Facebook and scrolling pictures and all that, I'm already confusing them. And raising children, I always say this, we must be consistent. It's very important. We must be consistent. So if we say there's something people, I mean, in my course of advocacy, anti-bullying advocacy, there is a vitamin we call vitamin N for Nancy. It is called say no. Your no must be no. Your yes must be yes. So not that, oh, this is not allowed, and then they see us do it. So it takes a lot of sacrifice. I mean, if we tell our children that maybe as we say, don't use lipstick, and we are using lipstick. I'm only using that as an example because I'm wearing lipstick myself. Maybe I've told my daughter, don't wear lipstick. I mean, I'm wearing lipstick. You'll be wondering, in fact, children of today, we ask you, you are wearing. What will tell me? Why are you telling me not to wear? You want to apply lipstick? So we must be consistent. We've learned that today. We must be intentional. We must be present. And we should apply vitamin N, no, when necessary. Otherwise, children are politicians. So and we say, if you don't say no, put your foot down and say no is no. They will try all they could to get what they want, and we know that might not be right for them. And then we should remember that we are their mirror.
Model.
Yes, but their primary model. So I think we have men on this call. Please, we would like to hear from men. I could see Mr. Adekunle Oyebola. I could see okay, Mr. Motunde Lanre. At least I know you very well. Oyeyemi Afolabi, I don't know if he's a man. Mr. Peter Oyeniyi is also here. So please, we want to hear from the perspective of men. We women, we've been speaking. Please, men, help us out. I mean, two Sundays ago, when last Sunday, we had Children's Day, pre-Children's Day celebration in church. And women came to see children in the children's service. And in my mind, I was like, why didn't men come? Why should it be only mothers that will come to see the children in children's service? Where are the men? Why were they not encouraged to come? So we're not going to end this program without men on this call also chipping in their own, please, opinion. We want to hear from the men because mothers alone are not raising the children. So please, men on this call, please say something. If it's one person, I've mentioned name, Mr. Mo Tunde, where are you?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. My uncle is here now. Yes, good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. I have been following the program.
Yes, sir.
A lot of care in our culture for the child seems to be on the mothers.
Yeah.
However, we know that it should be about responsibility. The point that are made are very valid. If we get careless, maybe due to issue of wrong programming, like I'm too busy, things like that. And sometimes the way jobs are structured, where you probably have the mother at home and then the father has been transferred and so on, you see that gap. And that is why we should not think that our children will get to the point where they will not need any guidance again. We just must continue to be with them. Not that we don't want them to become independent,
Yeah.
but we care for them, we love them. We don't want them to go astray.
Yeah.
And it's in this wise that we continue to look, out for them. So men definitely should continue to back up our women to ensure that we grow our children to the point that they will give us rest as we grow older. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I was also going to ask a question.
Okay.
In today's age, I've seen some men who say they are house husband. It's not that they don't have work. Oh.
Well,
Actually, in the days of remote
in,
work, a man
in,
could be at home.
in Nigeria, in our culture, I don't think
There's remote work now. There's remote even in Nigeria.
Our house husband can, will not be something that is prestigious.
But if it's me raising the children, I mean, if okay, like I said, in today's world, really,
it's a cultural thing.
I know. In today's world, really, there are some men who work from home.
Yeah.
So if they can work from home, I mean, we don't have to call them as husband, but if they work from home and they have to be there to remember, sir, what I said was that secure attached children is the bond they have with their primary caregivers. So who is the primary caregiver? Is it going to be the mother? Is it going to be the father? Is it the house help? Is it the driver? It's now for us to decide who or the teachers in school, who the primary caregivers for our children will be. I mean, when I said house husband, it does not mean that don't let us use the word house husband, but at least the man is present in the house, maybe because he's doing remote. Now they do a lot of remote jobs, especially if you're an IT person or you're a marketer. Some marketing, I mean, the marketers in technology world, some of them don't go out. They don't go out like in those days that you find people marketing for cement or flour mills, going around in their cars. They do it now from their homes. So if that has to be for one of them to be at home, yes, I mean for me, I don't know, but in 21st century, should there be a problem for that? If one is working, so if a man is working from home, for instance, on a remote job, will the man now leave the children? Or I don't know. I still don't understand how we could work around that. But it's something that we need to start raising that awareness. I mean, people created culture. So if there's a need to shift that culture, that okay, if you're working from home for the sake of these children, don't just face the computer and be working from home. Say that's not your responsibility. It should be the responsibility. I mean, if one is at home, if it's the mom or or dad that is working from home, or maybe circumstances made it that the person is at home at that time, then the person should be able to help out in giving that primary bond to the child. But it's very important that at least, like you said, sir, that at least somebody must be there for them. Somebody must be present. At least one person must be there for them. But that presence is very important. Parental presence is not negotiable. For me, I always say it. I'm an advocate of parental presence. That at least one person, at least, must be there
Yes,
to give them that primary.
I agree with you. And, that's even when you have the teachers doing their work properly too.
Yeah.
Yes, we shouldn't leave it just for the teachers.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Okay, sir. More men. We have more men on this call. Please, more men, can we speak?
Yeah. Well, before another man, hello.
Yes, yes,
Let me,
yes.
let me quickly
Okay.
add something to that before another man comes in.
Yeah.
Yes, talking about parental fatherly involvement or presence. I remembered in our own days, we went to a girls' school.
Yeah.
In a place when they call PTA meetings, 70%, if not 80% of those around will be our fathers.
Yeah, that's true.
The day of resumption, when they are bringing us to school, they will check our boxes and all that.
Yeah.
70 to 80% of people you will see around were our fathers. So suddenly, I don't know, the truth be told, today, maybe in some schools and maybe relatively very few schools, today when you call PTA meetings, you will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men.
That's true.
Even for men that it's not as if they are working in a bank or they're in the hospital or they're somewhere that engaged, but they will just not show their faces. So to be honest, it's true, culture, but I don't know what suddenly changed. Even in our own days, our fathers were very involved. They were present, not because they were the ones telling us do this, do that, but they were present. Like I was saying it today, I was saying it earlier when we were discussing. My dad was not the cane type, he was not the shouting type, but the moment we hear, even up till when I finished from secondary school, the moment we hear the hoot of the car, pin, 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 everybody
But that's scatter.
to beat us.
But that also has a downside.
It does.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to say that was a sign of involvement and presence.
Yeah.
Call meetings, it's my dad that will come. When they say they are bringing us to school, I remembered when I was going for my common entrance very early in the morning. I can still remember that fateful morning. As early as 6, my dad made sure I was done. And he took me to the balcony and he was asking me questions. And do you know the funniest thing? That's why I will never forget that day. 2 of the questions my dad asked me that day
came out.
Part of the questions I was asked for my interview. So that's what we are talking about. He took me, he made sure I was prepared, and he was asking me questions as we were going to school that morning. He was asking me, he was still chatting with me till he dropped me. So, I was dropping me, I was happy. And then for that 2 of the questions he discussed with me very early in the morning were part of the questions I was asked, made me happier.
Yeah.
But these days, what do we have? So let our men contribute again.
Okay, Mr. Motunde, I think somebody was going to speak. Was it Mr. Motunde? A man was going to speak.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Please, men,
Thank you.
speak. Oh,
Yes,
Okay,
he's speaking.
thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Well, for me, I'm in the school of thought of the old school bringing up children
Yeah.
with the modification of modern principles, trying to ensure that you engage more with your children other than the way we grew up. Like one of our mommy just said there that when you hear the hoots of the horn of your car of your dad, everybody begins to run. Fine, we can't do that now. We should
Yeah.
only ensure that we're intentional. And again, I always tell my wife, let me say it in Yoruba. I used to say that thing about daju in you sing. I don't know
That's
the
true.
English of that. It will come.
That's
Yes,
true.
if you are not
It's
thing
still
about
being
daju, you cannot.
intentional.
Yes, you cannot
yeah.
bring up children of these days. We were children one time. Like I've met parents who like want to vouch and swear with everything that they trust their children. I don't trust any child. All you
Yeah.
can do is just ensure that you monitor your child properly. The
Yeah.
last speaker was saying something about parents not coming for PTA meeting. Yes, she's correct. Like myself, I stay in Ilorin. In fact, I used to, every time I said, I don't know, I'll probably have to change, have to get transferred to Ilorin because of the school of my children. I remember one of my daughters, she was jokingly a little girl, she was like, Papa, something happened yesterday. We are writing exams. Students, my classmates were standing up from one chair to the other, copying. I
Uh-huh.
said, where is your teacher? He said, she's there sitting down.
Uh-huh.
They were moving, the little girl was just saying it jokingly and was smiling, was laughing. I found my friend out. What about you? Sir, she didn't do that too. I mean, where was your teacher? The teacher was there. And in fact, I had to take time because I didn't want to really go and become aggressive in the school. So I allowed it to slide. When they were resuming for another term, I want to see the proprietress. I tried to talk to her. She just gave me excuses and she finds out about it and all that. So all of these things as parents, we have to be intentional. We have to monitor, no matter how little these kids are, follow up at every time. Yes, they may say, especially for women, they may say the dad is strict, is that. It's better. And I should say that, you see, I observe that when mothers are strict,
Yeah.
children tend to come out well.
Yeah.
I stand
That's
to be
true.
corrected. When
Yeah.
mothers are strict, children come out better and well than when the father is strict.
Yeah.
Because when the father disciplines a child, the child goes straight to the mother and then she pampers him or whatever. But if it is the mother, where does she want to go to? She knows if she goes to the father, she could get a double of what she
Double
gets from
barrel.
the mother. So my own advice and suggestion is that as parents, irrespective of the age of our children, even up to university level, pump
Yeah.
in on them, see what they are doing. Don't give them too much privacy. They don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Although some modern parents will say, I don't want to bring up my children the way they brought me up. No. The things that you felt are bad when they are bringing you up, take them aside. But the
Yeah.
good ones, adopt them.
Yeah.
We need to build a good society. We
Yeah.
need to build a society that all of us will be happy and secured. That's just my point for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I
Thank
actually
you.
agree with you in that school of thought that both parents should train the children rightly. I mean, I don't believe that, and that was why I said there's a downside when daddy is coming and then everybody is running scatter scatter. Then mommy is at home, mommy is accommodating everything. No. If you both agree that this is a no-no, whether daddy is there or not, it is a no-no. So if you both agree that okay, 7 o'clock, everybody must be at home. No child in this house must be out after 7. That's for the older children. We will not say because daddy went on official assignment somewhere, then the children start coming home by 8. So, and the downside, just like I said, I'm still wondering, and I'm still going to take it up some days on when we had that pre Children's Day program. Why is it that it was only mothers that came to see children in the children's church? we're already sending a message to those children that it's only mothers that deserve to look after you. And that is why when they grow up, they think it's only the mothers that should that should be looked after. I remember in my primary 3, we were told to ask to do an essay on the parents that we love most. You know, school they will ask you in those days, who do you love better, your daddy or your mommy? Write write an essay about them. I was looking at my teacher like this. So she said, why are you just looking like this? I said, because I don't know who I like better. Because one thing I know was that, just like Mr. Motunde said, when a mother is strict, everybody in the house fall. Everybody in the house better maintain your standard. And that is what it should be. We shouldn't portray the daddies as they are the terror. And that's why when mothers portray fathers as if they are the terror of the house, the children grow up ignoring their dads, because all they know about the daddy is this one is a terror. So we must be able to balance it as well, making sure that children love both. Children understand the discipline from both parents. So if parents sit together and say 7 o'clock, nobody should be out of this house, it must be like that, whether daddy is around or mommy is, whether daddy is not around or mommy is not around, it must be like that. If they both agree that, okay, you're wearing 2 pairs of uniform, not once daddy leave the house, you now say, don't mind your daddy, is the one that is not making you to, like we said, children are politicians, and we must be very, very careful. There must be good standard. So from what I've learned, from what even Mr. Motunde said, is that both parents should give them the same standard, or almost the same standard, but none should negate the other one. Because once one is setting up a standard and it's been negated by the other person, it becomes dysfunctional. And we are not helping such children. So having said this, I don't know if we have more contributions
Okay.
before. Okay.
Quickly, let me correct this impression. Actually, my father was even the mild one.
No, I wasn't talking about your dad. I was just talking generally. So
No, but
yeah.
I'm trying to say that what I'm trying to say, the presence of my father here in us is that our dad will always guide us on the right things to do. And so because of that, whenever we are doing something wrong, our mom does not even come home. Our daddy comes earlier. Our mommy comes in the evening. So it's not like she was around, maybe allowing us to have our way. But whenever we are doing something and we know that that thing is wrong, the moment we know that daddy is coming, not because we are scared that he's coming to beat us, we will quickly correct ourselves. And that's why I was saying about that idea of presence. Like you asked that question, I remembered I was told several times. And I even said it to my children too. And that's because, like, our parents were our mirror.
Yeah.
But these parents, can they really say they are mentors to their children? Are they mentoring their children? Can their children? I've had situations where I had to call children. I don't want quarrel in the homes. Because when the parents misbehave, if a parent can come to the school to abuse the school owner, what I can do for that child is to make the child realize that your mom is doing this does not make it right.
Yeah.
So when we say you should obey your parents, there are certain things you have to, know how to, not to obey. Your mom is always insulting your dad. I've had children saying it to us, that their mom always abused their father. That is how to abuse everybody, even our daddy. You are to emulate it as a girl and even as a boy. You don't emulate like that. So, parenting these days has become so complex, and that's why I was trying to say, because well, I'm sorry to say we have few men here to place how involved they are and their presence. Something must be done. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we can, if there isn't any more question, where we can end it today is let each of us give ourselves this assignment. Tell your child, remember the child of who you are, and let us see what the response of those children will be. Maybe some will even ask you, who are you? Once a child asks us, who are you? Then we better sit that child down. And one thing I heard again yesterday when I was listening to Channels TV in the morning, Sunday, sunrise or so, they talked about parents being vulnerable. This is very important. Please don't let us lie to these children, thinking that we are all we are perfect. Nobody is perfect. We are all human beings. If we failed when we were in secondary school or in primary school, let them know we failed. Because in those days, every parent came first and second. So which one was coming last? So let us be vulnerable to them, to say, okay, in my own time, okay, maybe the child didn't do very well, maybe the child did fairly. Well, you didn't do well, but you can do better. If in our own time we had such example, okay, my own time I used to come 30th out of 33, but I kept working hard, and then I shot up to third position. We must be able to we must be vulnerable to our children, to let them know that we too, we are human beings. We are not God. And in that case, the moment we start telling them like that, they too will be able to come to us. Oh, okay, so this happened to you. Okay, so it means that if it happened to me, I can do it in this way. Yes, it happened to me, but I want you to do it better. So that's another thing that I learned yesterday when I was they were doing parents program that time. So we've learned today: be present, be present, be intentional. Let us be their friends to the extent that they will trust us. And then the last one I've just added is let us be vulnerable. It's not a position of weakness. Some people don't want their children to know that they were coming 30th out of 30 out of 30. Okay, even if I came 30 out of 33 that time, but I'm now successful. So what story do I have to tell my children to let them know that the same me who came 30th out of 33 was able to overcome that situation to now that I'm where I am? We're not perfect. And the moment children know that, oh, okay, so my parents too, they are not perfect too. Not only in academics, even in our social life. Once they know that we are not perfect, they too it will guide them. We will even be able to tell them how we overcame those situations. So I think with this, maybe, okay, there's something coming. Above all, do everything in love. Do everything in love. Love conquers everything. When we discipline a child knows when we are doing it in love. And that is what we should always do at all times. So thank you very much for being here today. What's the time now? This 8:45. Okay. We overshot by 15 minutes. The last time it was by 30 minutes. So we're getting better by the day. So hopefully next time we'll all meet again and we will discuss more. And like I said, please, if it means going home to ask our children, remember the child of who you are. And let's hear what they will say. I trust Gen Z and Alpha children, they will ask you, who are you, if they don't know who you are. So once they ask that question, then something is wrong that we need to put right. So thank you, Mrs. Gladys Chegudipe. Do you
Yeah,
want to say a final word before we call it a day? Please,
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have said it. That's why I wrote. We should do everything in love.
love.
When you want to discipline your child, be ready to disciple that child.
Yeah.
If you are not ready to disciple the child, then don't discipline the child.
The child. Yeah.
So your discipline must be constructive and not destructive.
Yeah.
God will help us. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
All right, thank you. Happy night rest.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
night.
Happy
Thank you.
Global Parents Day once again. Thank you, Saz and
You're
man.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.